Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you a camera that I picked up recently that I've been super excited to be using, and it's been a blast so far, and it's hit every mark of a point shoot that I was looking for. So let's jump on in. So the camera is a Fuji Cardia Mini Everyday OP 35mm film camera. It's DX coded. The DX code runs from 50 to 1600. That was one of the biggest points in finding a point shoot, is finding one that is DX coded. That's also not too big. Size was another factor, and this camera being pretty small, just a little about the size of my hand here, but it's pretty slim. It fits in my pocket very easily, and then I have a small carrying case that I put it in most often, because one downside is there's no cap, so the lens is pretty much exposed at all times. So I try to keep that in a case when I'm carrying it around in my backpack or something, that way it doesn't get scratched or broken in some way. So another thing I was looking for in a point shoot is a good focal length. Most of my point shoots in the past were 35 or 45 or even a 50, and I was looking for something a little wider, something to just kind of carry and be able to just snap the photo and know that it's going to be in the frame. I guess more guerrilla street photography type stuff, just kind of capturing everyday moments and stuff. So I carry it every day, and the focal length has been very nice in some of the photos that I've already shot with this camera. So like I said, it is a 28mm, and the f-stop is 4.5, so it's not the greatest if you're trying to do some low light stuff without a flash, but luckily this camera has a flash, so there's always that possibility. If you're okay with using the flash, or you're in a situation where you're allowed to use the flash, the flash in my experience so far has been spot on. The exposures have been great. So that's awesome about a point shoot, is having a good flash on it as well. Another cool feature on this camera, which I've had on previous cameras, is the backlit compensation button. So you could push that button on the back of the camera and it will compensate, I think, 1.5 stops for the subject in frame. So if the sun or the light source is behind the person that you were shooting or the subject you were shooting, it will probably give you a slower shutter speed to allow for the proper exposure on your subject. So that's really awesome if you're trying to do some portraits, or you're taking some photos and it's just really harsh lighting and they're in a shadow. That could be one way to battle that. All right, a couple features that come on this camera. Like most point shoots, it does have the infinity focus button. So if you're shooting something far away, it will focus infinity to make sure that that subject that's far away is going to be in focus. It also has a timer. I'm not sure if it's a 2, a 5, or a 10-second timer, but there is a timer. And I'm assuming since there's only one timer, you can't really cycle through it with the button. I assume it's going to be at least a 5 or a 10-second timer. So that'll come in handy if you have a tripod or somewhere to set the camera down, you want to get in the frame, or you're trying to take a photo with a friend. So now another cool little mode on here, but I feel like it might be a waste of film, is the panoramic mode. Initially, what is happening here is it's taking a panoramic across one frame of the 35mm film. And so when you slide the button, the slider on the back of the camera, 2 frame blockers come down and block the frame to give you that panoramic image on one frame. So you're going to lose resolution in your scans, and you're going to have black bars above and below. But it could be a really cool creative process if you're trying to create something more filmic or movie-esque, I guess you could say. I have used it in the past on another camera that had it, And I enjoyed it. It's a learning process because you really have to get your frame really level, because you can't really crop it after the fact unless you want to crop out the black bars. So something to keep in mind if you have a camera with pano mode, that's probably what's happening. So with that said, I've really enjoyed this camera. I've put 3 rolls of cine still through it, 800T, 50D, and black and white. And the images that came from those rolls came out great. The exposure was great. I feel like the black and white photos were a little contrasty or a little underexposed, but that might just be Cine Still's black and white, and I just haven't shot it enough recently. It has been a while since I've shot it, so maybe I just forgot how it came out, but I really enjoyed the images that came from it. The images are sharp. I did print some recently 4x6s with basic scans, and they came out really great. So I'm really enjoying this camera, and with that said, that's all I have today. I appreciate it if you would like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.